Your keyboard is lying to you a little. It says letters have an uppercase and a lowercase, but the capital A is not sitting above the small a. On your phone, the letters just change shape. On a page, small letters are not especially low. Some climb up, like H and L. Some dive down, like G and Y. So why do we not call them big letters and small letters? Why upper and lower? The answer sounds too blunt to be real. They were called uppercase because they were kept in the uppercase, and lowercase because they were kept in the lowercase. Not a grammatical case, not a language rule, a box. For centuries, printing was not typing. It was assembling a page by hand from thousands of tiny pieces of type. Each piece was a little block of metal with one letter raised on the end, carved backward, so it would print the right way when pressed onto paper. If you wanted to print the word "the," you did not press 3 keys. You picked up a backward T, then a backward H, then a backward E, and locked them into a composing stick. Printers stored them in shallow wooden trays divided into compartments. Those trays were called cases. Traditionally, the capital letters sat in a case above. The small letters sat in a case below. Uppercase, lowercase. But that raises the better question. Why were the small letters in the lower case? If capitals were the fancy letters, why not keep them closer? Because printers were not organizing a language. They were organizing a workstation. Lowercase letters did most of the work. A compositor reached for a small e constantly. A capital Q barely got invited to the party. So the letters used most often were kept nearer to the hand, in the lower, easier-to-reach tray. The layout was not simply alphabetical either. It was practical. Common letters got bigger compartments. Rare letters got smaller ones. In later American job cases, the box for lowercase e was the largest because English absolutely devours e's. And if you enjoy finding the hidden logic inside things that look pointlessly weird, thank you for being here. Subscribe for more real absurdities explained, and leave a comment with another strange little system you want investigated. Because the best part is still coming. The boxes explain the names, but they do not explain why the alphabet had 2 versions in the first place. Here is the twist. Uppercase and lowercase letters are older than the words uppercase and lowercase. Before printers had cases, scribes already had different letter styles. The big formal letters connect back to Roman capitals, especially the monumental letters used in inscriptions. That is why capital letters still look so official. Their family history includes stone. Even the word capital carries that feeling. It comes from a root meaning head. A capital letter was the head letter, the letter at the beginning. Lowercase letters have a messier, more human origin. They grew out of handwriting. When people write quickly, letters become rounder, smaller, and easier to connect. Over centuries, scribes developed bookhands called minuscules. One of the most important was Carolingian minuscule, used in Charlemagne's empire in the late 8th and 9th centuries as part of a push for clearer, more consistent texts. It helped shape the lowercase alphabet we still recognize. So capitals came partly from ceremony. Lowercase came partly from speed. Then printing spread in Europe in the 1400s, and those old scribal habits were frozen into metal. But there is a myth worth killing carefully. Johannes Gutenberg did not invent movable type for the whole world. Movable type had appeared in China centuries earlier, often linked to Beisheng around 1040. Korea later produced the Jikji in 1377, the oldest surviving book known to be printed with movable metal type. Gutenberg's breakthrough was European. In Mainz, in the mid-1400s, he combined metal type, molds, ink, and press technology into a system that could reproduce books at a scale Europe had never seen. Even then, early printed books were not as modern as we imagine. The Gutenberg Bible, completed around 1455, still left some decoration and headings to be added by hand. Printing did not instantly replace the manuscript world. At first, it tried to imitate it. That is why printers needed both kinds of letters. They were not inventing capitals and lowercase. They were turning a scribal tradition into a mechanical one. Once letters became physical objects, the furniture gave them names. Typewriters inherited the same idea. One key could make a small letter, or, with shift, a capital. And shift was not originally a metaphor. On many mechanical typewriters, pressing shift physically shifted part of the machine so a different character on the type bar hit the ribbon. Then came shift lock, so you could keep typing capitals without holding the key down. Eventually, computers inherited that as caps lock, and case still matters in places old printers could never have imagined. Passwords care about it. Programming languages care about it. File systems sometimes care about it. Your phone autocorrects it. The internet reads all caps as shouting. A storage decision from handset printing became a rule built into digital text. But case is not universal. Many writing systems, including Arabic, Hebrew, Chinese characters, and Japanese kana, do not have uppercase and lowercase in the same way. The two-case system feels natural to English speakers because we inherited it so deeply that it became invisible. First, the names sound like nonsense. Then, they sound like a silly historical accident. But then, the logic appears. The moving hand, the busy printer, the need for speed, and the way old tools keep living inside new ones. We no longer keep letters in wooden drawers. But every time we tap shift, change a password, or curse at caps lock, we are still touching the ghost of the print shop. Nothing makes sense until you find the case it came from.